Hello, everybody. Hi, Vivi. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
It's nice to finally meet you in person. I'm a fan.
Aw, you're so sweet. I'm a fan too. I mean, not in
Oh,
person, but at least we can hear each other's voice. One day
oh
in
yeah,
person.
for sure.
One day
Oh,
we have to do a
definitely.
girls trading meetup.
Oh, I would love that. That's wonderful. Get me excited. But anyway, you guys, hey everybody, welcome to the OTC Club. Go ahead and tweet out the room while we get some people in here, fill the room up.
But welcome everyone to the OTC Club. We'd like to thank you for joining us. Thank you for our sponsor, Jaws NFT Club, a luxury NFT that pays you in dividends of BTC quarterly. Only 2,250 available coming soon. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to check out Femi Token.
We have our special guest, Vivi, the Bio Queen. How you doing?
I'm not feeling very much of a bio queen lately, with the XBI being the worst since the 2020. But I guess there's not a more perfect time to kind of do some biopics because I don't think we can go any further down. Like yeah, we are XBI is a 90. The highest that we seen it was almost 200, and the lowest we've seen since 2020. So it's going to be almost 2 years, and I always see is decline. So it's definitely, I have a lot of like Lotto biotechs in my portfolio, but it's on my IRA that I just leave it there. But it's painful to even open up because everything is at a huge discount right now.
Oh, definitely. It's definitely at a discount. Everything is just just either moving sideways or going down. So, the first question I have for you is just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I've been in pharma for almost 20 years. So I worked in a lot of pharmaceutical and biotech companies. And so I've been trading since 2015. And I think obviously my passion was always biotech because I know how to read data. And I can always go after my doctors to, reaffirm what I suspect in regards to the data looking good. And I think I know how they operate. I know it's just the sector that I'm very comfortable with because I know exactly what it takes to launch a drug. I know what it takes to develop the drug and what it takes to be successful. So I've taken a breather. I've been trading full time for a year. Now I have like almost three job offers this week. I'm going back into pharma just because obviously it's stressful, to trade full time, especially now with the market. It's just so freaking crazy. So I'm glad that I can still trade in the morning and then go to work, see a couple of doctors, and be done for the day. So, but I needed that break. I was just
Mhm.
too many years working in pharma, but I'm ready to go back. And, but I'm still going to be very much active. It doesn't, it's a flexible job. So I can trade in the morning, California, that there's it's not advantage in California to trade pre-market, but the advantage of in California is I wake up as, 5:36. I watch, I get my coffee. I plan my day for trading, and then I try to be done trading by 11:30 Eastern Standard, which because it gets really choppy. So it's a perfect setup here for me to go to work after that. So I'll probably just trade until 8:39 in the morning, and I'll go to work for a few hours, and I'm back
Mhm.
and do a
I'm
little more
sure.
study.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to you when it comes to the market being choppy and going back to work. I find that, a lot of people have went back to work maybe part time because trading is our first love, really. This is our passion. So I completely,
I
relate
am
to
not
you.
gonna give up, but damn, it's very stressful, and I have a mentor. He stopped working full time after 3 years. When he had a 5 million in the bank. So now he's a full time trader, And so obviously I got laid off in December. So it wasn't by choice, because I want to do have that few million in the bank before I can go in full time. Because literally, like, I think the more it's better to have a few money to trade when you don't have to pay your bills, unless you're Zach Morris or, my mentor, and you have a few million in the bank. I think it's just wise to have a job where you're not so stressed out about, oh, I needed to pay my mortgage, so my trading needs to go really well this week, or I'm not gonna have money to pay my mortgage. It's just so stressful. But I won't give up. I mean, I have all my swings that I believe in, but it's the worst time ever to swing. So I'm literally just day trading now, and going in the direction of the market. So it's been really hard. Everyone can relate in this call here. Swinging is a disaster. It's everyone is down. And if you think about it, if you buy a stock for five and it goes down 50%, you need 100% to be even break even, right? So swinging, it's out of a question right now. So I think that's why a lot of people, they're not used to day trading or are really struggling right now. So I have the luxury to have a mentor that is helping me with the scalping options. But I think most of us are their swing traders are really struggling.
Right. Yes, I can't agree with you more that swing trading is very disastrous right now for a lot of
Yeah.
us, and we don't know what's going to happen. I've been lucky to, I'm not someone that does puts, but I've been lucky to just kind of get used to that to kind of keep me afloat at this time so I don't blow up my account. But even though I don't want to put puts, it's what's working right now in my portfolio.
It was been working really well. I know, obviously, I watched that dark pool. There was a 448 spy puts for February 18th. So what
Mhm.
I did for the last 2 weeks, I buy those puts. It's the premium is higher. But
Right.
the market, if the market goes down, I sell, and then it does that little rebound, that bull trap where everybody's buying calls, and then I'll buy my puts back because I'm still have a month out. So I've
Yeah.
been trying to, like, rinse and repeat, and I've been doing really well. But I'm trying to follow, obviously, like everybody else, I'm just trying to follow the dark pools, and just seeing
Right.
what everyone is buying in
Follow the
terms of a
money.
puts. Following the
Follow the
money, yeah,
money.
exactly. But I hate being a bear, but unfortunately, you gotta do what you gotta do,
Right.
and trade with following the money, because or you're gonna lose.
Right.
And I remember, like, in 2015, I didn't know anything about puts. I would have just bleed to death until the market recover.
Yeah. Follow it to the death.
Yes, and then needed 100% to recover.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
can
know.
I can relate to that part, but Christine is more the bull. I'm kind of the bear. I don't care.
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
So it's
she
like the
is.
bull
And
or the bear up
lately,
here.
yeah, the lately I've started to learn how to just put, the puts on because that's the only thing that's working for me at this time. Sadly, because I don't want to be a bear, but I mean, it's like what you said, Vivi, it's like you follow the money, and to keep afloat and not blow up my account, I'm going to need to do this. So, unfortunately, but Vivi, what else do you trade? We know you do big boards, biotech. We know you do options. Do you trade anything else?
I do. Like, I'll be honest, you guys gonna die and laugh. Like, I am 100%. I have such a high conviction in some of my biotech tickers that I have 100% on my IRA. It's all biotech, and then I've been cashing out every single day. So I do SPY, or I do Tesla or Apple. So I've been just scalping options. Just little goals, $3, $500 a day. I tried, to scalp options. And obviously, I think there's it's another battle. It's like, you go after those low floaters. I learned not to blow up because you get one knife. I mean, there's no way, because I know how to chart, and I know how to day trade and looking at a 5 minute chart, but there's nothing can predict a dump, right? So you have those low floaters are really fun to trade, but you can just completely get burned. So I'm learned to take a step back and be less greedy, and really just buy like 500 shares, 1,000 shares at a time. So my losses are really small. because I've been to a situation where I bought 10,000 shares, and I made it 27,000, but then I bought a 10,000 shares again and took a knife and I lost 23,000, so
Exactly.
so now I'm like not being greedy, trying to compound the gains and start really small, because nothing predicts those knives, especially with the low floater. There's nothing you can do. You have like
Mhm.
you have Atlas do one sale, well, $1 million volume just took off. Like the stock just dropped from $8 down to 5, in a minute, to one candle, so that's I think that's my learning a lesson right now, is just to be patient. But again, if I have to pay bills, you get anxious, right? You want to put more money in to make more money, but then you can lose very fast. So I'm trying to just to buy it small, but I'll trade it pretty much anything, whatever is it's whatever has a catalyst. I mean, I love biotech because the catalyst, but lately, biotechs are being so bad that I just buy what I have. I had conviction, and I just put money aside. I'm not really swinging, because I think the market the way it is, even a good data is not really pushing the stock up. So
Right.
it's
Right.
just being bad all around. So I'm just really buying the ones that I believe fundamentally that in 3 or 5 years are going to be big winners.
Yeah, so the long terms are the plays
Yes.
at this time.
Yes, I
Yeah.
mean,
Mhm.
and I don't even think you can swing it through a catalyst anymore, because
No.
it's just like everyone sells the news. So yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
hate that.
and I have to say, my friend that who's my mentor, he
Mhm.
said this worst market he's seen in 10 years in terms of trading.
Wow.
He said like
Amazing.
yeah, he said it's been the most difficult even for him to trade in the last 10 years. So imagine, the small little accounts of the people that just learning, you just have to be
Right.
patient and play with the $200-300 a day, like don't go all in, even if you have 30,000 to bet, but people wanted to
Especially
get,
here.
yeah, people want to get rich fast. That's the problem with all of us,
Yeah,
you know.
I know.
Mhm. So
I
Vivi,
find
if
myself. Oh, go
you
ahead.
find yourself what? Go ahead, Christine.
I was gonna say I find myself getting greedy on the puts now because that's the only place I'm making money. So I'm like, let me slap this much
Yes.
on it because everything's going down, and then I'll see it going up, and I find myself being bipolar because I'm like, oh, that's nice, it's going up, it should go it should go up, but I need it to go down. I'm like because I'm betting as a bear.
But
So
that's
yeah.
why I'm like, I lost $500 on Friday because I bought $300 puts from Microsoft, and it went up for a minute, and I freaked out because
Oh yeah.
it was daily. It wasn't weekly, So now
Oh shoot.
so it was daily, but it would have paid huge. But that 5 minute candle freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, it's 500. Now it's going to be 600, 700. So I cut my losses, and that thing dived to like 270. And I'm like, so now even like if I'm doing the puts, I'm trying to buy in a higher premium and put them a little further out so I have time, you
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's what I'm
Because
doing because I
Mhm.
was buying daily as well, like what you said. And now I find myself buying it further out because at least we have some time.
yes, it's scary. The dailies are scary. I lost a lot of money on the daily spies. I rather buy 2 weeks out on the spy, and if I
Mhm.
get, if it's red, I know eventually it's gonna. So that's what I've done too. If it's red, and I know that I have a 2 weeks to win, I will scalp the opposite, for the daily. So if the puts are my puts are all red, I'm like, okay, now it's time to buy calls. So I buy small amounts of a daily calls, and then I'll just scalp it, and then I sell it, and I keep in my puts for 2 weeks. So that's what I've been
Yeah.
doing, but it's scary.
So
It's
I
so
basically,
scary. And
what I do is I basically scaling in with Spy. I basically scaling in the opposite direction because right now it's in like you can say like a consolidating pattern, basically up and down, straight up. So when it goes up, I start to scale into puts, and when it hits the top of my trend line, it goes
Oh, so
down.
you're just playing that, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's been pretty cool with me so far as SPY is concerned. But right now, it dipped below the trend line, so it's put heaven right now. Puts.
Ugh,
We got
it's
Yeah.
gaps.
So
horrible.
did you guys see the futures are ripping and the whole Twitter is bearish? So they think that they might rip and then take a dive again.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, you
wouldn't be
saw.
surprised if
Hmm.
it's ripping through the weekend and then on Monday it takes a dive. Like that's what our life sounds like right now in the
Well,
stock
the
market.
21st, do you know they had over $1 trillion in calls and they all got killed on Friday?
Oh
I mean,
Yeah,
God.
completely
they
crushed.
sold that money for sure.
So they're like they completely killed all the calls for
Hmm.
everybody. And it was over $1 trillion in calls, which is
Hmm.
Insane.
crazy.
It's
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 Gapping
insane.
trap.
insane. And
So.
Microsoft, right? They acquired Activision. Was that on Friday that they announced that?
Hmm.
Yes.
And
Yes.
ties to the metaverse.
Yeah, so they acquired Activision. So I know a lot of people were bullish on that news, and then going against the usual sell the news. But Microsoft was down, and then Activision was up. It's just all over the place. I was like, okay,
Well,
whatever.
that happens in pharma though. That's very normal. So what happened is the company that gets acquired goes up, and the company that acquires goes down because there's less cap. There's less cash flow. So they're spending more
Sheesh.
money. So this is very common in pharmaceuticals. Like you see a company acquiring another company. They're like, oh, geez, they acquired them for 7 billion, so now they don't have as much cash flow as they did, but the company that gets acquired for 7 billion, goes up like 40%, 50%.
Yeah,
Depends on
we
how
all
much they
should
can
have
buy.
put we all should have put money on Activision for sure. I think it went up like 30%.
Yeah, it
I
went up
had
a
some people
lot.
that did. I had some people that did. They just scaled in because they're gamers. So they bought some before it ran. And I mean, when I say it went up tremendously, it was crazy. But Vivi, so if crypto, because you haven't said anything about cryptocurrency. So if crypto, a biotech company said, "Hey, we're gonna start a cryptocurrency," would you do it?
Oh, I don't know if I would do it because, mixing pharmaceuticals with the crypto, I mean, I would have do just as a momo trade, yes, like anything that announces crypto, but crypto is really scary right now. I still own my Bitcoin, but I'm hoping, I don't know where people are hiding their money, guys. Are they hiding on their mattresses? Because
That's
I
what
thought
I'm
of like,
thinking.
yeah, I thought
Where's
of
the
like
money at?
maybe, yeah, I'm like maybe when people saw the sell off, they would like with inflation going up and interest rates going up, I thought maybe, okay, maybe they're just going to inject more money in Bitcoin, right? Because the market, it's dumping, but everything is dumping. So I don't know if people just buying bars of gold and putting money under their
Who
mattresses,
knows? We
because
have yet
it's
to know where the money is going.
The
because
Cayman Islands.
the Bitcoin, it's insane right now. I hope it recovers
Ethereum
soon
too.
too.
Yeah,
Everything crypto's
Ethereum and
been awesome,
Bitcoin.
being awful. But I do
I was
have
like,
I
awesome.
no awesome, being awful. I do have a stock though that if people follow me, they know that I'm a big fan. But I do believe that the opportunity to buy and hold and really get rich with this company is the my BCRX. Right now they're like at $13 a share. I think. Let me see. It's really, really low right now,
So
and I believe.
give us some background on this ticker.
Okay, so I'll tell. Okay, so right now it's at 13.75. So I made a video on my YouTube that everyone said to anybody that wants to invest in biotech should check it out. It's my YouTube channel is Vivi, just the Bio Queen, but it talks about how I invest in bio and how do I prevent those RS splits and the reverse splits and all the dilution, right? Because that's the problem with the biotech and pharma. There's a lot of dilution because they need to raise money. So When I bought BioCrest, I bought them at a $3.80 at first. I only bought like 2 or 3 thousand shares, and they were 6 months. They just had to raise some money, so I knew they had enough capital for the launch of the drug, but also for the approval, because they were 6 months out for getting approved. And the reason I went after them, because they were coming up with a drug that was going to compete with the injection from Takeda. So it's a rare disease. It's for HAE, and they only have injections from Takeda, and they're going to come with these pills, twice a day pill. And patients have already saying that they rather take a pill than taking an injectable. So they got a FDA approval, and then it tanked, right? Because what happened is, when you invest in biotech, people sell the news until they can prove that they're profitable, right? So any kind of approval that you guys see, people just sell, because the company still needed to prove that they can be able to sell the drug, because having an approved drug doesn't mean anything if you have a bad management and bad sales force. So I had a 3,000 shares, but then when they launched their drug, their first quarter they did 10 million. Because rare diseases, they're very expensive drugs. They can cost sometimes 10, 20, $30,000 a month. So, they're specialized only in rare diseases. So I knew that they're not just selling an antibiotic or just selling a nasal spray for $300 a month medication. It's like really expensive. So they did 10 million in the first quarter, and then I think it went up to 15, and then it went up to 28. So they're really, really now finally, obviously they're gonna have a higher cash burn because they're working on the pipeline. But in regards to their profitable, not profitable, but they have a capital to fund their studies, and they're doing really, really well in sales. So 2 weeks ago, the CEO posted not a but posted a year of a report, saying that they're gonna do 122 million, and they're not on a way to be $1 billion drug for the HAE. So just that alone, if you do 1 billion times five, because now they're just, when they do in terms of a potential market cap, they are multiplying by five, not seven anymore. I don't know why. So BioCrest should be at least a $5 billion market cap. And right now, let's see what the market cap is. I think it's like not even three now, because it went down from $17 to $13.75. So when it comes to the pipeline and why this company is going to be huge, and why I have 15,000 shares, I sold four because, paying the bills. But I still have a 15,000 shares of this company, and I believe it will be $100 a share minimum. Is they have this pipeline. Just to put things in perspective, the pipeline that they have is the same Factor D pipeline that Alexion had it and sold it to AstraZeneca for $39 billion. And the drug that it was 70% of the revenue from Alexion, it was for PNH, another really, really rare disease. And BioCrest is coming up with the only oral form of this drug to compete with the now AstraZeneca that is an injectable. And what happened was, in their trials, they escaped to phase 2 because they are when a company skips a phase 2 is because they're very certain that they're going to be successful in phase 3. So phase 2 is almost like, let's try this other set of patients so we don't risk of not having a statistical significance. So they skipped phase 2, went straight to phase 3, and so far what they found was that not only the patients are doing really well, but the patients are taking that medication every single day. None of these patients need a blood transfusion. And for the Alexion drug, not only it's an infusion drug, but patients still needed blood transfusion. So this is going to be a huge pipeline, and we're just going to blow AstraZeneca out of the water because it's going to be in pill form. So their first drug for PNH, it's supposed to come the beginning of 2023, but because they're still profitable, and they in 3 or 4 years they will be a $5 billion company just on Day alone, they should be at least at a $25 a share. So that's why it's a great opportunity to invest, not buy, not swing trade, but just if you want to buy a company that you don't need that money and you want to believe is something that's going to be profitable in the future, that would be my first choice for sure. So it's BCRX.
Wow. So
So it's
I know you have a back. I know you have a background in biotech, and you already know some of these things that we're talking about, that you were talking about about LCTX. Um, what is your research process, your DD process when it comes to these companies? Because it seems very extensive.
Yeah, so how I do it is, believe it or not, StockTwits is a great place to find tickers, right? And once I find the tickers, my total process of doing my DD is, I wanted to know how much cash is left. I wanted to know what is in the pipeline. I wanted to know who are the investors behind the company, right? Because Sarisa, for example, Sarisa Capital is one of the biggest biotech investors. Alex Danner, he's an amazing, he makes deals, he does buyouts. So I want to know who is investing. And a good way to do is looking, if you look at a Sarisa Capital, if you look at a Baker Brothers, you can find in the website, you know exactly what they're holding and how much of it. So from there, you'll be like, wow, this is interesting. Why does Baker Brothers is holding X, Y, and Z and has 30 million shares? And so kind of that kind of a brings up like kind of like a light bulb goes off. Like, why are they going after this company? What is behind it? So this is the easiest way to find little potential companies, is going through the big hedge funds. Like, who are the big guys and what are they buying, right? So I look for this. I look for what is in the pipeline. I look for how much money they have left. So that's why I told you guys, I don't invest anything that don't have a product coming up soon. And when they do, I only add more if that product, I know it's going to be successful. So I wait for their first quarter, second quarter of the sales to see if this company has a bright future. Because I mean, I don't remember if you guys remember EVFM. Do you remember that, the EVOFM? Everybody was talking about on Twitter about the gel, the non-hormonal gel that prevents pregnancy, and they thought it was going to be the biggest thing, since I don't know who, but it was just preventing pregnancy with teens with no hormones. Did you guys remember that company?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So if somebody pulls it up, I think it's less than $1 a share now. Why? Because they launched the product and everybody was like a cheerleader. Oh my God, this product's going to be amazing. So everybody bought because of the product, but nobody thought about how is the management, what are they doing with money. I mean, this company was spending $4 million a quarter just in advertising. Like, they were playing like they were like Merck and Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. They were spending so much money and in marketing and not selling enough of the product. So it was a lot of people lost a lot of money on the company. So, but when people ask me, would you buy here? I'm like, no. First of all, I don't think teenagers really want to stick anything inside and get all messy and gel. Like, for me, it was like, I don't know. I mean, you can put stuff in your arm, a birth control pill in your arm, and not having anything for 5 years, or you put a gel in. But I guess if people are sensitive to hormones, but how many teen girls are sensitive? So I didn't think the product was all of that, but the fact that how much they were burning, how much they were selling, that was a huge concern. And look at the company now. So I think they need to prove that they can be successful in sales before I would put any more money in, if that makes sense.
I mean, how many people got pregnant off of that gel? I wonder. Hey, how you doing, Simply Sim?
Hey, what's up, love? How you doing?
Good. I'm glad you could make it up here.
I
Hello.
appreciate it so much. I appreciate it so much. Do you guys mind if I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Quick question for you. So, how, like, when it comes to these bio stocks, right? I'm always curious to kind of know this too. So, when it comes to these like potential bio stocks, um, how inclined are you, or if not, when it comes to these like certain trials that they have, right? How do you kind of judge the base of where that stock has the potential to go when they go ahead and they jump into a potential trial on like these certain types of, let's just say, whether it's a vaccine or whether it's like, some sort of pill that's coming out on whether it's COVID or not, or whether you mentioned birth control. um some have it on psoriasis, some have it on Alzheimer's, right? What really brings you with maybe like a type of like an upside to a potential ticker or a downside
Yes,
depending on these trials?
I'll tell you, the worst thing you can do is play on a phase 3 trial. So only 3 out of 10 companies will ever have a successful trial in phase 3. So the biggest money you can make is in phase 1. Because phase 1, it's probably gonna work okay, or even preclinical in mice. A lot of things work in mice and then work in humans. So I would never ever hold a stock. I've done that before. I'll never hold the stock ever again in phase 3. I'm a more inclined to hold in PDUFA, even though I don't like to hold in PDUFA either, because that phase 3 has already proved that they're efficacious, right? So they submitted the NDA, they already submitted to the FDA, but of course, I mean, the FDA can come back and say, we didn't think those trials were enough, or we needed more information, or there's a problem with the manufacturer, so now we're just going to give you a complete response letter and the stock dives 50%. So literally, like, I rather sit aside and knowing when each PDUFA is going to come and this day trade, the day of the approval. It's, for me, it's not worth it anymore. So like you said, when it comes to trials, nobody knows what phase 3 is going to come out. Nobody has an idea, unless you have a really, 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 like, outstanding, like, phase 2, where they look at it not just in safety, but you saw the preliminary efficacy data was just blown away. Like, I held a UPH through PDUFA because the data was so stellar at phase 1 and 2. So it was
Yeah.
just like this, the statistical significance was really, really high. So at the odds of that company getting approved, for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to hold through PDUFA because I believe in this. But 90% of the time, I don't hold through PDUFA anymore.
And just to kind of go off of that, when you just said, oh, awesome information, by the way, right? But just based on what you said, when it comes to the phase 1, 2, and 3 trials, um, I'm not too familiar with pharmaceuticals, which is I'm here to learn, right? Is
Yes.
there ever any time that there's a phase 4? And if there is a phase 4, what does that entail?
Yeah, so phase 4 is usually an open label study. So let's assume I there's a drug for let me see. There's a drug for cholesterol, okay, and I want to can let me maybe a better drug. Let me think, because a lot of times they unblind the data, so most of the times it's double blind, placebo control data. Okay, so let's assume a pill for sleeping, right? They did the phase 3. They were very successful. They did it the phase 4, and now they're gonna open the label. They're gonna tell the patients, hey, this whole time you're taking placebo, and this whole time you're taking Lunesta, for example, and now the placebo group, we're going to give you Lunesta. And you, Lunesta, we're going to keep you on Lunesta. So now they're going to have a different type of study, because now you're going to see a continuation study on a Lunesta side. You're going to get a different efficacy study on the placebo side in terms of efficacy and side effects. So a lot of times companies, just like for a second indication or for just reaffirmation that the long phase study it's safe, they'll say, hey, there was, I sold many times. Hey, on this open label study, we found out that an additional 20% of the patients had a bad efficacy here. So that's why they would do a phase 4 study, which 90% of the companies do that because they wanted to show, like in a open label study, they want to show what additional benefits that drug had, beyond the requirement data for approval, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. No, thank you so much for that information. It couldn't have been clearer. So I really appreciate that, love. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Amazing. And now we have, I know we brought some people that requested up. We have Austin and Carlos. If you guys have a question for Vivi.
Sure, I'll go. Okay, so Stonehouse came out the other day, and he was saying that this is for BCRX, that we raised guidance to $1 billion.
Yeah.
So when we look at that, we can see that that's about 22% of capturing that share for the HAE market.
Mm-hmm.
So for BCX 9930, do you think that they will be able to capture the same market percentage to then further kind of find what peak sales could be?
Yeah, so I wanted just to point out to you guys something that was really funny. I had a guru, a furu, in Twitter, completely trying to debunk on me when the Stonehouse was talking about peak sales, and he's like, "Well, X, Y, and Z says they're gonna have 5 billion sales and they have 0 revenue," and I'm like, "That is it's like comparing apple to oranges. Like, the reason Stonehouse it's projecting that $1 billion blockbuster drug is because they have base sales and they know the progression of a patient, the patient, how the patients are being switched, and they know the projection of the sales. They know that the sales are going in rapidly switching patients over. So that's why he can estimate. If you have a brand new drug with no baseline of sales and conversions against the competition, you cannot project, right? So I had to kind of disagree with Afuro, saying, hey, we have, we know how often these patients are being switched over, and we know that how much sales we're putting. So with the BC 9930, I think we're gonna capture a lot more than that, because we're going against a infusion that you still need a transfusion. So it's going to be, what do you rather be as a patient? Do you rather going to the office every 8 weeks to get a transfusion and then still need a blood transfusion? Or you rather take a pill every single day and not have to ever take a blood transfusion for, they have now up to 12 months in data. So I think they can capture 50% of the business, to be honest with you.
Okay, perfect. And then 50%, I mean, that'd put us at about 7 billion revenue. So very interesting. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I believe that, if we get bought out by, I think Takeda would be, they say Takeda cannot afford us, but if we got bought out the same way AstraZeneca got bought out, that puts our share, with the amount of shares we have outstanding, it put us above $200 a share. So to be honest with you, I'd rather them to develop the pipeline and then sell the company later when they can say, hey, we're going to capture 50% of the market, then sell them now and have another company continue to do the research. Do you know what I mean? I wanted them to either become their own monster rare disease company or get bought out after we have our PNH drug approved. What do you think about that? That's how I want to. I don't want to be sold for $50 a share.
Perfect. Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So I know I talked to you on Twitter, but so I was looking at LCTX, and it seems probable that with their development of dry age, that age is probably going to be up there with them. There's a lot of companies that are kind of fighting for this. There's a big market share capture. What makes you more bullish on LCTX compared to something of age? And I know that a big one would be cash on hand. They're a bigger market cap, but there's a lot of other smaller ones that are testing right now as well.
I almost want to ask Brian about age, because age kind of piqued my interest, because what I hear is that age has the rights of testing all the parts of the body, and Brian never really mentioned to me about that. So age is kind of piqued my interest. But from what I understand, speaking to Brian, why it piqued my interest is that a lot of the companies there, and he even said, like, how advanced they are is a shame that their market cap, like, they don't get any TLC at all. And some companies that are not even as advanced they are getting more market cap than they are. But what makes me very bullish is it's the advancement that they have. I mean, they are seeing results, patients testimonies, where they're really seeing regeneration and a retina. And I met a surgeon, eye surgeon, that is a huge investor there and think this is going to be a blockbuster. So again, you meet physicians that are behind these companies, that believe, that know the data, know the science. So for me, it's like LCT, LCTX have the potential to become a 5-6 billion dollar, like, in 2 years, because Brian said they're really really close, and submitting a NDA, IND. And then he said that you don't need more than like a year of data. So they have some preliminary data, but they have to start like a full trial on it, if that makes sense. So I don't think age is that advanced in regards to data and progress. That would be my hesitation. But I do want to search age for sure, because it sounds the potential sounds amazing. I'm gonna ask Brian. I'm gonna text him. I have his number and ask what's up with age. Well, I thought you guys had the rights for every single part of the body, and now you're telling me that age is a spinoff from LCTX. I want to know. So I'm going to reach out to him and ask.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then, yeah, just
You-
for age, I mean, it's a 50 million market cap compared to, 300. So could have more potential, but they are,
Yeah, but
less
how far? Yeah, but I like how far out they are in their studies and how much money they're gonna need. So that's another point. But I think LCTX, we are 2 years out from really becoming that billion-dollar company. So that would be my concern. It's how much money they have left and how far out they are on their studies.
Okay, thank you, Austin.
Yeah. I just brought PB up.
Hey guys, yeah, I don't have a question. I'm just
Hi, PB.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
I just brought him up because.
Oh yeah, I want to congratulate you for being a trader and have honors grades. I'm very proud of you. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah, my mom makes me,
That's
No
awesome.
trading
Hey,
if
you
I
gotta
don't
have
have
a
good
plan
grades.
B. You gotta have a plan B. Are you playing a lot of puts or what? Because I mean,
Heck yeah.
those
Yeah,
Momo
me
trades
and-
are being
Me
they're
and
being
PB
kind of a
just do
crazy.
puts now.
Yeah, they have. Whatever
Yeah.
the market goes, I play.
Yep.
Yeah, the Momo traders are scary right now. Even the Momo trades are scary, and I know you're good at Momo trades for sure.
Yeah, just keeping it tight lately.
Yes, I know.
Smart
PB,
kid
I
right
have
there.
no clue. Yeah, I have no clue how he's getting straight A's and and trading,
And trading
because
successfully.
dude,
It's because he's
what
a Doogie Howser.
yeah,
Thanks.
he
Yeah, I
is.
have no choice, if I have to keep trading, I gotta keep the grades up.
Yep.
Yeah, your mom don't play that. I know.
Maybe you should talk to her, tell her to give me a little more leniency or something if she wants.
You
Also, I
heard
think she's in
that,
here.
and I
So
know she's
when
the
you know
audience.
PB, what would be a smart thing to do? You're gonna laugh. But if you buy an IRA for your mom, you open an IRA for your mom and then trade on it, okay? And then when she's 59, she can take the money out. Especially if she won't be able to do a Roth, you can do a converted Roth, because I'm sure your parents make more than 150 a year, but you do a backdoor Roth for her, and then trade the heck out of that account in and out, because you don't pay capital gains or losses. And then when she's 59, she can just handle the whole account to you.
That's actually smart. Wait, I had a question. Can you day trade on a Roth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Also, why
I
wouldn't
day traded
do
all
that?
I day trade. I'm trying to grow my my IRA, and I'm doing the back door.
Oh, you can't
So
pull it out.
I'm doing the back door. If anybody's interested in knowing what the backdoor Roth IRA is, I can explain here, even though it's not a biotech. But I
Go
think
ahead.
It's all
everybody
good. Go
should
ahead,
know.
PB.
So
Bye.
here it is. When you make less, like I would tell any kids starting a job or anybody that makes less than 150,000 a year. So just Google it. What is the income for a Roth IRA, right? So the Roth IRA, the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA is that a Roth IRA is tax free. So you pay no taxes whatsoever. And you take that out, I think, when you're 59 and a half, or if you want to buy a house, I think. So when you're making too much money, so when I was right at college and I did not make six figures, I had a Roth IRA. But the minute that I got into pharma and started making 150, they I stopped contributing for Roth IRA because I no longer qualify. But there's a little secret. If you put money in your traditional IRA, so let's assume I put the maximum traditional IRA. Actually, I flipped my old company into an IRA, so I had a lot more than just the 6,000 a year. So if I go and flip the traditional, if I take money out of my traditional IRA into a Roth IRA, what happened is I slowly every year I try to transfer 10 grand. And what happened is you pay in 10 grand becomes part of your income and you pay taxes on a 10 grand. 10 grand, but that 10 grand goes tax free into your Roth and you can grow that Roth tax free. So what I did was in 2 years I transfer 20,000 and slowly I'm building up the Roth IRA because I know that when I'm 59 I can take that tax free. So for anybody that cannot afford a Roth IRA because they make too much money, you open a traditional IRA, you put your money there and then convert into a Roth, and that $6,000 that you transfer into your Roth goes into an income at the end of the year, and you pay that as a part of your income. So let's assume you made it 200,000 a year. That's going to be 206,000. That's going to be your income. So you have to pay taxes on that 6,000. Does that make sense?
Amazing. Thank you for explaining that. And I just started to look into trading out of my IRA because I wasn't doing that and the taxes are not fun. So I'd rather do that through an IRA. So that's the best way.
Yeah. So the bad thing is you cannot claim losses, but you also cannot claim your capital gains. So you in and out of and that's what I did. I bought spy puts, made 10 grand, boom. I don't pay capital gains on that 10 grand. It's in my sitting my IRA, but
Yeah.
also if I lose 20 grand, I cannot claim that 20 grand against my gains. But it's a great way to grow your account tax free. It's to trade inside a Roth IRA. So that's what I was telling PB. You should open one because you don't make 150 at your age. So if you do have a job or you're starting one soon, open the Roth IRA. And even if you do a maximum contribution of a 5 grand, dude, you can grow that 5 grand into
Yep.
a million accounts. So just compound those gains. So that would be my advice for anybody that wants to do the backdoor IRA.
Thank you. Look into it.
Everybody do the backdoor IRA.
I mean, not everybody. I mean,
Everybody do
I
the
live in
back door.
California. California is not that hard to make over six figures. I mean, not everybody
Right.
makes six figures, right? So,
Right.
but if you don't make six figures, you're dumbass for not putting money towards a Roth IRA. Like that's tax free when you're 59, you guys. So you need to put money towards your Roth IRA, even if you have a 401k. It doesn't matter. Create a Roth IRA for
Yep.
yourself.
Number
I have
one
one.
priority right there. And we brought up Raucus. What's up, Raucus?
Sorry. Just a question for Vivi. After the trial 3, are there any other anything else that can happen that can go wrong?
Yes. PDUFA. I mean, guys, I lost $50,000 with ARDX. 50. Again, trying to go big, really felt that, okay, there's 3 trials, different mechanism of action, is a kidney disease drug. I knew people in a company ready for the approval to get to launch the drug. And FDA came out of the blue saying, we don't like these studies. Gave them a complete response letter. So the stock went from $12 to below $1. And so a lot can go wrong. That's why if you made a lot of money and you've been holding for a long time,
maybe put it like, take your profit out if you're gonna play PDUFA, because I don't think it's worth it to hold it through PDUFA at all. Even if you have a stellar phase 3, look what happened to ARDX. A lot of people got burned there.
Okay, I appreciate it. So it's just not a set it and forget it.
No, that's the
Okay.
problem with the biotech. The only company I can tell you is a set and forget is BCRX. Because they already de-risk, they have an approved drug, and so that's the problem with the biotech. You cannot put in and completely forget. Your account will be wrecked because you need to know, oh my God, when is it going to be phase 2? Is the phase 2 looking good? When is it going to be phase 3? When is it going to be PDUFA? Like, unless you don't have a lot, unless you just buy 1,000 shares for $3,000 and then you just, roll the dice. But that's the problem with the biotech. You cannot just put it, set and forget it, because you can lose a lot of money.
Thank you for that information. And you're teaching us a lot because I never knew about the PDUFA phase. I always knew about phase 1, 2, and 3. But PDUFA, I mean, it sounds like a fancy pillow. So thank you for letting us know what PDUFA is.
Yeah,
Lucas is laughing at you for calling it a fancy pillow.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, just so you know, DUPA means
the PDUFA
butt
means
in
prescription
Polish.
drug
Just so you know.
use. The PDUFA means the prescription drug use fee act. So that's what it means. So it's pretty much.
Are you Portuguese or?
I'm Brazilian.
I
I'm
knew it.
Brazilian.
Tudo bem. I can tell you by your accent.
Tudo bem. Yeah.
Hey, tudo
I,
bom.
that accent it's hunting me for the last 20 years. I'll never
It's not a
lose
bad
it.
accent. It's a great accent.
It's a great accent.
It is a great accent. There's
Well,
accents
it
that are
makes
not good, but yours is
yeah,
nice.
it makes me very memorable. Let me tell you, like my doctors always know, like they might forget my name, but they're like, the Brazilian rap. I need her drugs. What is the Brazilian rap?
Banana way, banana way,
Yeah,
capoeira.
that's capoeira. I play capoeira.
I
I
love
do
before.
too. I play the
I'm a big
berimbau.
fan.
Oh
I'm
my
a
God.
capoeira
I
fan.
tried to play capoeira, like, when I was an adult already, and every part of my body was so sore, just for Jenga, doing the Jenga. I was like, I
love the
couldn't
Jenga.
even
That's my
move.
favorite
It's about
part.
to turn into
My
different
favorite part.
spaces. I did capoeira in high school, so yeah.
Oh my God. It never felt so old when I tried to do that again in my 30s, and I couldn't move out of my bed, because you do the Jenga like for like 20, 30 minutes before you go into the circle and do your little martial art. But oh my God, what a great exercise.
If you're not familiar with the Jenga, it's it's like the beginning move of a break dance.
Yeah. It had to be for
Oh
a
my
different
God.
space. We can talk about cultural things in Brazil. Next space.
I love capoeira. The best. It's definitely I think it's the best martial arts there is because it's so beautiful as well.
Me too.
It is beautiful for sure.
All right, you guys. Let's not get too deep into capoeira because I'll start singing with you guys. We need to have a Jenga. We need to have a circle one day. But anyway, on Twitter Spaces, that would be funny. But anyway, Bio Queen. So, what advice do you have for new traders?
I would have my advice for new traders is, like I told you guys, if they want to learn how to even if you swing trade or you day trade, it starts small, and I'll go all in, because you can wreck your account pretty fast. So you just learn, you just continue to learn, right? Just from your own mistakes. I don't anyone that's been trading here knows that there's no way to learn without losing money. It's just the part of the game. But I would say, in terms of if you ever want to invest in biotech and leave it on your long-term account, go to my YouTube and check my videos. I think it will help you. Prog is another one that it's been beaten down to death. I'm sure people want to know about PROG. I believe the company, I keep reminding myself that a big they own a lot of money, and this the way that they pay back to their loan was in forms of stock, because the company believed in Prog, and for me that's very, very bullish. But they're getting beat down, not just because the market is, but they don't have any catalyst until Q2. So that's another problem. You always want to trade around your core I had like 30,000 shares of a prog. I sold it for, I kept only 5,000 shares. Now I'm like a bag holder. But as soon as I see bottom, I buy the other 5,000 before a catalyst. And you got to do rinse and repeat over and over again with the biotech, because if you hold, you can never buy like 10,000 shares and set and forget it, because the company can go through our reverse splits and dilution. And next, 5 years from now, you needed $30 to break even for a stock you bought for $3. So that's exactly what happened to me in Adera. So that was my first ever investment. I bought 10,000 shares of Adera and I set it and forget it. And then today is the dollar, and I needed like $32 a share to even break even. So obviously I sold a long time ago, but I'm just giving you guys an example that you cannot just buy a biotech stock without a product approved and just set and forget it. You can lose everything, So that would be my advice if you want to do biotech.
Thank you. That was so good. Um, so before we leave, because we got to wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock, you guys. I know you guys are so excited to finally get to talk to Vivi. Um, do you offer any mentorships, or do you have a Discord or Telegram that people might want to join?
I don't. I mean, I love going to the stock swing alert. Obviously I'm a guest there, but I really like the way they play the puts lately. So even if you guys wanna if when the market's red, if you wanna just to go there to play the puts, there's some really good put players there. So that's what I've been lately. I've been at a stock swing alert Discord a lot, playing the puts because I'm learning, as well. So but my YouTube channel, it's been a motivating to talk about biotech, because everything is it's the dumpster is on fire. But I will put more. I do have other long-term like stocks that I believe will be big winners, and I'm slowly I'll put those videos out, and I'll explain my DD, my reason behind these companies. So stay tuned. I will make more videos, but I don't have any time for mentorship. Are you kidding me? I'm trying to stay afloat and have a job and take care of 2 kids. I don't, but the YouTube is very helpful. So if you guys could come and join and subscribe, I'll have more content for sure.
Vivi, before we wrap it up, do you have any tickers that you're bullish about next week that I'm sure are puts?
Oh my God. Yes, I do. I don't know if you guys know about the SPACs and how they go on vote and the floor gets completely taken out. So I had a HGLN, and it was at a $15 a share and went down all the way to 6. So I do have 2 SPACs that I expect that the puts are gonna pay really, really well. So one is EVTL, and the other one is IVAN. And I haven't bought yet is CC. Let me give you guys. It's all the voting. They are all gonna be. What happened is the people they vote, and then the guys they start selling the shares and diluting the stock. So that's why these SPACs go down, and they call like the floor got taken out. I don't know how they explain. I wish I know. Maybe somebody on here on Space know what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna give you guys the next one that they believe that will be. It's CCAC. Is a LIDAR Chinese company. So the vote is on January 31st for that one.
Okay.
So
that was CCAC, and what was the other 2?
CCAC, and then the other 2 were, let me give you guys, it's EVTL and IVAN, like Ivan.
Okay, perfect.
So obviously you guys do your own research, but that's exactly what happened to SPACs. They drop after the vote, and it's been like it's been almost like a slam dunk in all of them. So those are the puts I'm holding. I'm holding SPY puts, but not until February, because I don't like SPYs for the weekly. It scares me. But I have the SPY puts for February 18th.
Amazing. You guys heard it here. I hope you guys wrote that down. Make sure you guys follow Vivi, the Bio Queen. She's been amazing. Thank you so much, Vivi,
You're
for coming
welcome,
on.
girls. It was nice talking to you. Thanks for having me. I hope it
Yeah,
was
it was
helpful.
super awesome. And
Yeah,
we
I couldn't
recorded
wait.
this, so it'll be up on the YouTube in about a week or two, whenever Twitter decides to give it to us. But we want to thank you to Vivi for coming. Thank you, Jaws NFT, for sponsoring us. I'm super excited to start trading this week again, even though we know the market is very wild right now. But make sure you guys get on those puts.
Same
Yes.
here.
Take care, you guys.
All right.
Same
Thank you,
here. Thank you for
guys.
joining us at the OTC Club. Make sure you follow everybody up here.
Okay, bye.
And thank you so much, Vivi. We will
You're
see
welcome. My
you
pleasure.
Wednesday.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.